How many of you will be really, really happy and excited if you get $80,000 for 15 years at 2% interest rate? At 2%. Whoa. So again, that's taxpayers' money, and I'm sure you'll be happy. And I got somebody is raising their hand. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, that means yes, I'm excited.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Tonight is the night. We have a lot of changes coming up, a lot of excitement and anxiety for tomorrow morning. David Grossman going to enlighten us on what's going to happen tomorrow morning at 9:30, 10 a.m. from Bank of Canada. And now market has picked up all of a sudden, and Randy Goodman is going to give us enlightenment. Hey, what to do, and is it time to jump in, or fear of missing out going to kick in again? And we also going to have Jyoti, and we can also have one of the most critical part of our life. You know who takes most of your money? Who takes most of your money?
You're right.
You're right. Number one is your taxman. Number two is the bank. Number three, well, you can put a credit card or insurance. There are a lot of expenses. People don't really look into it, and they are real expenses. Though. Well, anyway, that how it works, but let's get down to it. So just a little disclaimer, all organized speakers they don't assume any responsibility. They are here simply sharing their personal opinion. If you're seeking a legal opinion or professional opinion, make sure you hire the right person and you retain them as for this information is more or less very general information, so as to speak though. All right. So please join the club if you have not joined it. It'll be fun. You know, it's a lot of fun. We've been doing it for more than 20 plus years. Well, maybe a long time. It's like addiction. You know, you got to meet people and you got to do a couple of things together though. So 2025 is going to be exciting. Our meeting will be on January 14th. You will be notified. If you already registered on Zoom, you will be invited as well. So here is the great news. Are you happy? I am really, really excited about talking about this thing. Now, this is a great news. It came from Department of Finance Canada. It is a federal. Now, they are saying that if you have own a house, if you have unused basement apartment, unused basement, you want to turn into apartment, or you have garage, you want to turn into something. And if you even have a laneway home, you can increase the density, and it will make cheaper for homeowner to do so. And they're willing to give you 15-year loan. It's a loan, it's not forgivable, at the low rate of 2% only for 50 years. So most of the investors here tonight will jump on this, think, okay, this 15%, $80,000 for 15 years at 2%. I mean, it's no brainer, and that most of us will look into it and definitely acquire it, even if it's a principal residence or not. It's a country suite loan program starting most probably January 15, 2025. So here is that gift from, in a way, it's a gift, and you should start planning. And the other part of it, which is going to, I'm sorry, David is going to explain to you, lenders insurance will begin also allowing mortgage refinancing up to 90%, up to $2 million. $2 million, 90% financing. This is a great news. And this is a good thing for, it's great for homeowners, and it might be able to make a lot more sense. One thing for sure, affordability, and you're going to have some sort of you can say additional income, and that is a great news. In my opinion, if you have something, you think could more add value, or you're not happy with this thing, hey, just share your thoughts. We like to get some feedback from you. So renters. Now there is something happening with the rental market. Rentals becoming a bit soft, especially in certain areas, and people are searching for more than 2 weeks. As of November, it is out there. Rents are declining. Be aware of it. It's not as high as it used to be. It's taking a lot longer to rent it out, especially when it comes to condos in Toronto and Vancouver. Those, I call them pigeonholes. They are less than 600 square feet, but at the same time, the rents are not going to go dramatically very low, but again, in case you are calculating it, be aware the amount of money you used to get, it might be a bit lower though. So here is the little bit caution. This is by a couple of banks and even the Canada Mortgage Housing Corporation, that there are going to be a lot of defaults happening in certain, especially two markets in Toronto and Vancouver. They're going to be pretty much rising quite a bit. And they are saying there are certain markets going to be okay, which is Calgary and Saskatoon, and also they're also gonna watch Montreal, Ottawa, and Edmonton. Those who are aware of it, the reason being simple: Toronto and Vancouver, most of the investors are over leveraged. There will be mortgage renewals quite a bit. Dave's going to be talking more about it, and there are a lot of families in trouble. I heard something very disturbing today. I would like to share with you maybe once I verified, but I heard something really terrible today. And it came out of a source that, again, is not official source. Maybe some of you might heard about it, that because of this stress, there are a lot more road accidents happening in certain part of Canada. And the numbers are just scary. These are scary numbers. People are under so heavy stress, they don't know where to take it out. It's all about money, by the way. This is, again, we got the same thing. CMHC is saying that there may be some situation. There are three things you can do. You can always ask the help from David, or you can also ask the help from Jyoti. If you are in arrears, you can look at the mortgage payment deferral or extend the amortization. If you can see if you can add up the missing payments in the mortgage balance, these could be some of the options, by the way. There are some families or regular families who are not even investors are hurting, but I just thought I should share with you. So these are some of the markets. People say, oh, market is going up or down. Some markets have gone extremely higher. In last 5 years, if you look at the Montreal, the best market ever is in Moncton, where average condo has gone from 140,000 to 300,000, which is 116.9%. This is pretty strong. But again, if you look at it, even it includes some of the other areas which are more familiar with. But there are some areas you'll be shocked to know. People think Edmonton is hot. But if you look at the prices, not much, 187 to 198. And if you look at Calgary, people talk a lot about Calgary, it's only about 18%. And if you look at, again, when you look at Toronto, it's not that bad, it's about 9%. But if you look at Ottawa, 32%, and if you look at Vancouver, it's 16%. So what appears to be rosy, the facts are telling you something else. For those people who bought condos in those areas, just thought I'd share with you tonight. This is another latest, again, survey. 2/3 of Canadians think they can only afford about $1,700 a month towards a mortgage. Otherwise, they could have a lot of struggle. These are the Canadians who are earning approximately $100,000 of income, and they can only carry up to $350,000 mortgage. Apart from Atlantic provinces or Maritimers, they can only carry $225,000 mortgage as we speak. So, Alberta, land of opportunities, plenty of jobs and affordable living, but there are some caution. The unemployment rate is the highest in Calgary and Edmonton compared to the rest of Canada. There is a shortage for home builders and hospitality business, but there are not that many jobs out there. So again, it's a boom strictly driven not by oil, but it's driven by the affordability factor. Alberta happened to be cheaper, it attracted a lot of attention, and they advertise a lot. And in the last since July to I think 23 to July of 2020 to 23, they got about 96,000 fellow Canadians moved to Calgary alone, though. So this is another part of the painful truth about Canada. 40,000 Canadians, 35 to 40 homeless living every night out about there, and the hard, the one which break the heart is like a lot of the rich provinces. Ontario, BC, Quebec, Alberta, they're supposed to be pretty rich provinces, and we have more people down there. And the cost of this is about 7 billion, and we are investing only 2.2 billion just on Edmonton, the red hot spot for flipping properties. So this was the red hot spot apart from Calgary and Edmonton. People have done well compared to Toronto or Vancouver, by the way, just the charts don't speak otherwise. But on the other hand, the market is totally different in Toronto. Those people who bought a house in 2019, single family detached home, they fixed it, add some additions, and they have sold it for 3 million, and the total time is about 397 days. So it looks a lot more profitable. And again, there's not a single home which is saved from the flippers or I shall say investors like you. And every investor is keeping an eye. Hey, whenever something comes along, we would like to do that. Can you buy properties in auction? Yes, we have a teaching program or master class on December 22nd, Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. If you're interested in it, you can just text your name on WhatsApp, and we'll be happy to share the information with you. So that brings us to the next level. December, end of the year, taxes. How much money is going to a taxman? What did you earn? All the money you earned till June 19th this year, not even a single cent went to your pocket. It's called Tax Freedom Day. All the money you're going to earn till June 19th next year, you're not taking a penny home, all toward the taxes, by the way. Just to enlighten us, most of the Canadians don't understand it. The day you're born, the day you die, you're going to be paying taxes. Learn more about it. It's okay to know more about it. We have very little information about how our finances works, and that is very unfortunate, though. So these are a couple of the deadlines: December 30th for tax laws, selling deadline, January 1st for TFSA, March 3rd for RSP, and April 30th is their tax. For us to enlighten us about the taxes, over 1 million Canadians utilize the THSFA, which is free first home savings account. So far, this is excellent news. It means over 1 million Canadians are waiting to buy their first home. So that's a good news. And they can contribute $8,000 up to lifetime up to $40,000. And this is a absolutely tax-free income. So enlighten us all. We like to bring over one of the top-notch guests, Jerry Hogenhout. He's the only Canadian licensed in 5 of different separate regulated investment market, including stocks, bonds, mutual funds, private equity, mortgages, insurance. On top of that, he is also a real estate investor. Jerry, are you here, my friend? Jerry?
He is, but you have to edit him to panelist. Please.
All right, thank you. I think we did, but anyway, just give me 1 second, please. Thank you. Jerry, can you hear us though? Oh, he is in the car. Okay, sorry. Went to the wrong place. Jerry, can you talk?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm in my car. So anyway, yeah, thanks, Nav. Thanks for inviting me to speak again tonight. Appreciate being here. So interesting points you bring up. But one is the Tax Freedom Day. It's always depressing when that gets brought up. It's unbelievable. We work half of the year for the government, and the rest of the year, I guess, is our money, but we still have to pay HST out of that and everything else. But anyway. And also, I just wanted to touch, you mentioned the tax loss selling. So that's December 20th deadline. So that's an important deadline for those people that applies to. And in simple terms, what that really means is the tax loss selling means if you have a stock and it's you want to sell it, or because it's a loss, to create a capital loss. And you would do that if you want to offset any capital gains you have. So that's a good tax strategy. And some people do that even though they want to sell the stock, but still keep the stock. They might want to, it might be down in value, but they think it will go up. So tax selling means you can sell the stock, use that capital loss against any capital gain, but that capital loss is denied if you buy that stock back within a 30-day period. So if you're going to sell a stock for tax loss purposes, make sure you don't buy it back within the next month. Okay, so that's an important thing. The other thing I just wanted to highlight tonight, Nav, for your audience, it was in the papers recently about the sale of houses that are being Airbnb'd. And there was a panic article, I think it was in the Star, about if you sell a house and if it was Airbnb'd, the government wants 13% HST on the sale price. Now, that has very serious implications to a lot of people, because if you do Airbnb is an HST taxable activity. So if you Airbnb your house, that house has HST taxable activity. And if there's HST taxable activity on a house when you sell it, you're supposed to charge HST on top of the sale price. Now, that's never really hit the news, and so many people have just sold their houses, even if they've Airbnb'd it, and never paid the HST. So this is rising up now. Like the Liberals are kind of going after everything they can to increase their tax revenue. So this is another area where they've highlighted that they're going to go after. What's unclear to us in the tax profession is, what if you just Airbnb'd your basement and not all of your house or a part of the house? That is very unclear to us as tax professionals as far as how CRA will handle partial HST activity inside of a house. So we really don't have a good handle on that. We're a little concerned that they're going to be attacking everybody that does Airbnb. And just a general comment. Again, when we report that activity, if we did Airbnb our house, we are also able to just report that as business income on the personal return, the T2125. And if we report it as business income, they're not really aware of it as Airbnb income in a house. If we use the rental schedules that CRA prefers us to use, we're really disclosing a lot of information to them that we really don't have to. So the message I have to people, if you are in the Airbnb business, we can just report that as business income. And it keeps it away from the prying eyes of CRA in this aspect that they're coming after now for HST on houses. So I just wanted to highlight that to your audience tonight, Nav, and I'll leave it at that for now unless anybody has any questions. And I thank you for inviting me.
David, can you read the question on Q&A, please, for Jerry?
Sorry, can you repeat what you just asked me there, Naftash? What do you want me to do?
Can you please read the question in Q&A for Jerry?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't see a question in Q&A.
There's one question. Or Randy, can you see it? Or Vladimir, can you see the question?
Oh,
Yeah,
here.
Okay.
Don't you always pay sales tax on any property sale? I'm unclear how the Airbnb legislation changes that.
No, not at all. There is no sales tax on the sale of a house. Even a rental property, if you had a fourplex and rented all those units as long-term rentals, there's no tax. That is not HST taxable activity. So to determine whether there's tax on the sale, we have to determine if there is HST taxable activity in the premise. If it's a commercial property, of course, that's HST taxable. There will be HST on the sale of that commercial property. If it's residential property, normally it's not. But CRA now is coming in and going, oh, you Airbnb part of your house or all of your house. And that is creating the problem. So when you look at the house, you have to look at the activity that is happening in the house. So in simple terms, commercial is HST taxable. Normally, residential activity is not. Whether you live in the house, you own the house, you live there, there's no sales tax on it. If you own a rental property, you rent it out to a long-term tenant, that is not HST taxable. If you're in the business of rental, i.e. Airbnb, that becomes HST taxable, and we're going to have a little bit of a problem when we sell that house. The government's going to have their hand out for 13% of our sale price. Now, when you sell a house for $1 million and they got their hand out for $130,000, that's a big number and a big impact to that whole transaction. So just be careful. I mean, they're really bringing this rule to light simply because the government is basically saying everybody that Airbnbs their units are taking away that unit from the rental market, and that's creating the problem with the rental market not having enough houses or spaces for people to rent, which I don't agree with that. I mean, it's our house. We should be able to do what we want to do with it. I mean, they created the problem by bringing in all these people, knowing that there's not enough accommodations for them. So anyway, if you're in the Airbnb business or in the game, just beware and get some advice so you can better position yourself for what might come ahead when you sell it.
Great. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it, my friend. Now we're going to move forward to our real estate lawyer. And our real estate lawyer has something to tell you today, and it'll be shocking, really shocking to most of you. And these shockings, I will keep it a secret until she wants to disclose it. Jyoti, it's all yours. Give us the
Thank you, Navtaj.
of tonight.
Thank you, Navtaj. I'm going to be talking about two topics. One is a pleasant topic, and one is not a pleasant topic. The first topic is how to protect your property from unauthorized transfers and mortgages. This is a problem you will encounter only when you pay off your mortgage most of the time. If your home is mortgage free, then you don't want any fraudster to lodge, change the title or to encumber it with another mortgage. So what do you do in that scenario? So what we can do is to lodge a certificate of duplicate indefeasible title on our own property in Ontario. Now, this is a simple application, and you can do it, to the land registry office. It costs $81.21. It may have gone up a little bit now. And this certificate is valid until it is surrendered to the registry for cancellation. Now, basically what it's doing is that nobody can, lodge any encumbrance on your property because you have put the certificate on title. The other way to do, to safeguard your property is to have a caveat. A caveat is a notice that claims an interest in land, and it wants anyone searching the certificate of title that the caveator has an interest in the land. But the problem is you can lodge a caveat only if it is based on a valid claim. So if there's no claim that somebody is trying to put a mortgage on your property or transfer it, and that is not authorized, then you cannot lodge a caveat. And you can search the land records in Ontario using the on-land site if you feel that somebody is trying to do any hanky-panky with your property. So title fraud is a common problem, or maybe not as common, but getting common these days for owners of residential, commercial, or investment property. and the scammers or the rogues are trying to transfer the property without the authorization of the owner. And that is something which nobody wants to be in. That's just not a situation that anybody wants to be in after you sweated out to pay off the mortgage and your house is mortgage free after so much of effort. So you got to take the steps to protect your property from the fraudsters so that they cannot either transfer the title without your consent or try and encumber it with a mortgage when you don't have one. So these are the two ways, certificate of duplicate indefeasible title and a caveat. But the caveat cannot be used as a precautionary measure where no threat exists. If the owner has learned of a potential unauthorized transfer charge, then he can go in for that before the charge is registered. And once it is lodged, the caveat will appear as a notation on title in a similar way as a mortgage or other charge. So this is some information for people who are in the fortunate situation of having paid off their homes and they want to protect their home from fraudsters encumbering their home with a mortgage. Now, the other topic is not a pleasant one. It is about a judgment lien. What is a judgment lien? A judgment lien is a court ruling that gives a creditor the right to take possession of a debtor's property if the debtor fails to fulfill the contractual obligations. So if a person is not able to make payments and the creditor applies to the court for a judgment lien, then that lien will be placed on his property, and it can be placed against an individual or a business and allows the creditor to access assets such as the debtor's business, personal property, and real estate to satisfy the judgment. So it is placed without the owner's consent or agreement because he has defaulted in his payments, and it can be attached to real or personal property. Or if the debtor has no assets at the time of judgment, it can even be applied to or attached to future acquisitions. Basically, the way the judgment liens work, if you owe money to a creditor and don't pay, they may sue you for the balance. And if the court rules against you, the creditor can file a judgment lien against you. A plaintiff who obtains a judgment is referred to as a judgment creditor, while the defendant becomes judgment creditor, while the defendant becomes a judgment debtor. And once a judgment lien is filed with the appropriate authority, it is attached to the debtor's personal or real property. Personal property refers to assets such as cars, appliances, or furniture. Real property, on the other hand, refers to things like homes and other buildings or land. So this is a drawback. If you're not making your payments, and the creditor wants to sue you, then he will get a judgment lien against you, and it will attach to your property, your real estate, or your personal property. And it can even attach to any future assets, provided the lien doesn't expire in the meantime. But one drawback of liens on personal property is that a large portion of someone's personal property has no title. So if there is no title on the personal property, then they will not be able to enforce it. And they can sell it to a third party who is not aware of the lien's existence. So this is what you have to guard against, that you make your payments on time. You do not default your payments because you have the capacity or you are liable to have a judgment lien imposed on your personal or your real estate property. I hope nobody gets into that situation. And I hope the first topic that I spoke about safeguarding the title to your property after the mortgage is paid off, that is the situation one would like to be in. And I'm closing this year with hope that many more people can pay off their mortgages in 2025 once real estate picks up and starts booming.
All right, thank you, Jyoti. So Jyoti discussed two things. Number one, the fraud on the title. How do you protect it? It's a simple technique. You can contact Jyoti directly or to your lawyer. Second thing, what she discussed about called civil enforcements. When you do not make a payment on even a credit card or any kind of outstanding balance, it can come back and haunt you. Not now, it can even haunt you for the next 7 years once the judgment is in place. Most of the judgments or liens are good for 70 years and they can be renewed for another 7 years. So don't take it lightly. We have dealt with recently a scenario where a homeowner took $9,000 on a credit card, and that $9,000 in 50 years have ballooned to $100,000 debt. And that is now attached to his property. One little mistake, he's paying 25% compound interest. Yike. Does it happen all the time? Yes. Are people aware of it? Not really. That's why we bring the top-notch lawyers like Jyoti and bring it to your attention. Hey, listen, be careful. There are opportunities out there, and sometimes we see the victims and our heart bleeds for it. But what can you do? That's how the life goes. Thank you, Jyoti. Appreciate it. So
You're
now,
welcome.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying you're welcome.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Okay. Next question. Next thing we're going to talk about is the market is booming again. So we're going to talk to Randy. My God, what have you done to the market? Booming by 44%. And this is a couple of things in the spring market. What is happening? What are the two key factors you're also going to discuss tonight? And we're also going to talk about 40,000 condos and 40,000 resale condos in the market now. What the heck we're going to do with these condos? And why the Toronto or condo market is crumbling, and what is happening. Are we really in the fear of missing out? Are we in the recovery process? And all this supply coming in, and it will be enlightened by my good friend and my little sister, Randy Goodman. She is the best international bestseller. Not one, but 12 times. So she is the top-notch real estate broker, well-respected all across Canada. Randy, it's all yours, my friend.
Thank you so much, my brother. I'm not calling you my big brother.
All right.
Brother. Okay, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm always excited to be here and some great info. So in November, there was a 40% increase in home sales compared to last year. And new listings are up 6.6% in November, year after year. Rental demand will pick up as population growth remains high. Average selling price is up 2.6% compared to last year at 1.106 million. It's a slight decrease from October. I don't think the population is going to go into crazy FOMO again, fear of loss, basically, unless buyers didn't learn their lesson the last time. So I've seen multiple offers happening throughout this year, even before the rates had decreased. You know, if a house was in a good area and it was renovated well, people were still fighting for it. So, you know, we do have some affordability challenges to overcome. Those who bought in the fear of losing out did overpay and are in a position of where their mortgage may be higher than the value of their home, and upon renewal may not be able to renew because of the current value or the interest rate adjustment if they had a low rate when they bought in. So, you know, the market will get better in the spring. The prices will get better. I apologize. but I think that people will fight over properties that are desirable. I don't think they'll go quite as crazy as they did through COVID, because hopefully they learned a little bit of a lesson and saw the shock of what happens afterwards when your house is just not worth the mortgage that you have, which is a very painful thing to digest. And so we'll see what happens, but there's definitely more activity, more buyers in the market. Hopefully the rates will go down a little bit more tomorrow and then in January again. So we'll see what happens, but there'll definitely be more activity in the spring. So if you are thinking of getting into the market, honestly, now is the time to buy. They believe that right now is the low time as far as prices go. So it's just going to go up a bit in 2025. If you want to discuss getting into the market or you have a business to sell, definitely reach out to me. Or if you're a developer with land and can't get a loan, I may have an option for you. And do you want me to leave the heating up in spring discussion for January, or do you want
Yes,
me to?
yes, please. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it January 14th.
Okay.
And once we get the good news tomorrow,
Yes.
and people get more excited, they're in the mood. 2025. Right now, we're wrapping it up.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Randy. Thank you so much once again, Randy Goodman. She is the top-notch broker. And please get in touch with her in case you need the advice to invest or you want to buy principal residence in Toronto. Mortgage renewal. Oh my Lord, 1.2 million Canadians have to renew the mortgage in 2025. And the RBC is saying that, hey, an average homeowner might have to pay $513 per month more. Yike. That's a 6,000 bucks extra out of your tax money. And then also there is something happening. We have the president-elect Trump coming in, and he's talking about something and say, hey, what will happen if he comes in? Is inflation going to totally vanish completely? What does that mean? How this is going to affect us, and also about the tariff. Also, the banks have raised some short-term, the bond yield is falling, going up, but the rates are kind of going up and down, and we're going to have enlightenment from David Grossman. How much it cost you? As I mentioned to you, most of the time, majority of the Canadians believe, or based upon RBC, depending upon the amount of outstanding principal, they're saying about $513. But for us, we like to get all the enlightenment from the expert, David Grossman. David, it's all yours, my friend.
Thanks very much, Navtaj. I noticed, by the way, that there was a question. I don't know if you want to deal with it now or later, but it looked like it was a question for Jyoti when she was kind of wrapping up.
Okay, let's wrap it up. We will take the question later.
Okay, very good. So, yeah, renewal times. A lot of renewals coming up, as you mentioned, Navtaj, and there's a few things that people can do. If they're having problems, they should be talking to their banks. The banks do have a mandate to help people out. There is pressure from the government to help people out where they can. If people need to skip some payments or maybe have some mortgage payments added to the mortgage. But there's no shame in selling. You can also borrow more money, but when you borrow money, you just have to know that there's an exit, right? Because you don't want to get yourself into more trouble unless you know that you have a way of getting out of it. It's amazing the number of people I've had over the last, let's say, 6 months who have been really in a tough spot because house prices are down, mortgage rates are up, and they're struggling. And they say, "Can you get me more money?" Well, who would want to lend? But I guess they put off selling when the market's soft. But if once the market's a little bit stronger, if you got to get out, because if you go into arrears and default, you're just accumulating fees and penalties, and it's a bad thing. But if you do have the equity and there is an exit strategy at renewal time, you could also arrange a line of credit to help give you some breathing space. And as far as rates go, well, variable rates are going to be looking good soon. There's thought is that fixed rate, especially the 5-year rate, at around 4.5% is down, or in the low fours, is down to close to where it's going, as low as it's going to be. It might drop a little bit more, but it's not going to drop a lot more. Whereas the variable rate, probably 6 to 12 months, is going to be better. We're looking at about an 88% chance of a 0.5 point cut tomorrow. So that's really exciting. But that could be it for a while. So as Randy said, the time is now. There are opportunities out there, and there are people who are having trouble. So there's an opportunity to pick up some good deals out there, if you're looking to take advantage. As far as these 25% tariffs that Trump's talking about, it's a Bank of Montreal says worst case scenario, if they did put on a full 25% tariff. Worst case scenario is that the Bank of Canada would have to drop the prime rate, or the overnight rate, by another full percentage point to make up for that. But most economists argue that it's unlikely that we're going to see anything that extreme, because there'll be pain to the United States. They rely on us Canadians for a lot of resources, different products and services that we offer. So it's unlikely that they would unleash such a terrible thing that would only hurt us and not hurt them. So that's probably not going to happen. So as always, find your opportunities. Getting the best rate is one thing, and it's definitely important. But if you can fix and flip and find opportunities like you can when you're a part of this great network, that's where the wins are and the money's made. So you've got all the resources here, with advice from all the right people, and it's always a pleasure. So thanks, Navtaj, and thanks everybody for listening to me here once a month, and Happy New Year.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. That's David Grosson once again. rockyourmortgage.ca, David at rockyourmortgage.ca. Now we're going to get into the next stuff, what is happening. Now, when a builder, people ask you a question, why the houses are so expensive? Well, the builder costs about 36% toward the taxes. Yike. If you look at the typical house in Toronto, the builder is going to be paying more or less indirectly, directly, land trust, development charges, and so on. The levy is about 36%. And our development charges have gone about 1,000%. Yike. We were recently in a meeting where we had the city councilor came in, and we were talking about Brad. He is possibly could be the next mayor in Toronto. And he's pretty active, and this is something good to know, that, hey, there are people out there who understand about builders and investors and how do they work. So this is another great deal happened recently, and this may gonna set up something which is going to be great for a lot of investors. So the city of Vancouver decided to, instead of selling the land, they leased the land for 90 years for $8.5 million. Whoa. Under the program called A Better City, ABC Vancouver. Now, this is a great deal for investor or developer. You got a land for 8.5 million, 99-year lease. I mean, you know what? This is a great news, because they can build commercial and rental buildings on it. And this may gonna open up the floodgate for a lot of developers, because the cost of land is quite a bit, especially when it's a well-established neighborhood, all the infrastructures there, and it's old school, and they are, I think it's less than 2 acres of land, by the way, just thought. Here is something else. Most of you are not aware of it. If you are your own business, you are eligible to get called micro startup grants. Now, right now, they are expired for this year, I do believe, and then we're going to come in January or March. If you're interested in it, hey, send me a text message. We can send you information on it, or I can put you in touch with a consultant, and they charge X amount of money, or you can do it by yourself. Google the word forgivable micro grants or startup grants. There are all kind of money available. Most of the investors here might be qualified, but there is a little twist to it. Just be aware of it. This is totally forgivable, by the way. Just thought. Here is another one. Again, I'm going to talk about all across Canada, but I'm going to talk a little bit about Vancouver. 7520, 7510 Crombie Street. Market value 69 million, sold for 26 million. Wow. The assessment value is 36 million. Anytime you are selling or buying a piece of property below assessment value, the BC assessment is going to send you a notice. Hey, what's happening? What did you do? Is it a crooked deal? And they're going to check it on you. Hey, what's going on here? What's the deal? Now, these type of deals don't come that often, but there are certain more to it. I will be talking to you, and I'm going to be also going to talk tonight when a developer's worst nightmare comes true. As for last 2 years or 3 years, I would say, or more than 3 years, a lot of developers have lost their shirt. And there's so much blood out in the street. It's not funny. And I'll share something with you very briefly that even though these big boys, with a couple $100 billion are losing all. And what happened? Life happens. And there's no sight. How they will say, there is a risk in investments. Yes, the timing is another thing part of it though. This is a developer. Believe it or not, I want you to look at the deposits. So there are 4 condos. This is one called Curve Developers, one of a kind developers, really high end. And the cost to buy is $4,000 per square feet. $4,000. And this is a deposit. The total deposit, which is less than 20% or 10%, I believe, is like 800,000, 1 million, 2.8 million, 3.2 million. That's the only deposit. Well, this just came about as a 6-story residential tower, supposed to be one of the high end of it. But I just thought when people do not pay the deposit, they can be sued, by the way. Just thought I'd just share with you tonight. So this is the gentleman, kind of know of him, not well know him, but his properties are under receivership. He has $85 million debt altogether. What is he doing? What is he doing? He is building condos. The condos have been sold. He have $80 million worth of a deposit. And now what does he doesn't have? He doesn't have time in his favor though. And this thing is sad, but again, this is the 2 high-rise towers in Surrey, or you can say Vancouver itself. Most people know the gentleman called Thin Properties, and this is what is happening. So now they have the first mortgage of $80 million. There's a cash equity of $5 million if you look at it, and there's almost over $102 million altogether. And this is kind of sad that they are defaulting, and the average per day is about $32,000. They're supposed to make the payments on it though. They're restructuring it, by the way. And when they acquire these type of mortgages, they pay the prime rate plus almost like 4.5% above altogether. So when you look at the builder, you think they're making a lot of money. No, they're putting all the neck on the table though. So they are supposed to be 1,023 units altogether. This is supposed to be, now they're looking into having a joint ventures. Now, all these type of things gets eventually sorted out. But the trouble is this one is the time. And the time costs a lot of money though. 90% of all these units are sold. $79 million is deposits held in trust. But again, that you cannot touch the trust account altogether. And now the debt ballooned to about 85 million bucks altogether. Now, what choices do they have? Now, buyers are stuck in waiting. Now, the Supreme Court in BC have approved it, and now they're looking for a bailout or looking for a JV to come in. And they also struggling with some other properties do they have because of this hike in interest rates, load on the market, and so on. And they have sold, I believe, one of the hotel, and they're maybe getting another $45 million out of it. And they, most probably they might be able to restructure it with maybe another lender. But these are big boys. Just thought I should kind of share with you. So if they don't do it by January, the project could be sold. If the project is sold, that's a big mess of 1,023 buyers, about 1,000 buyers. So what exactly is telling us that Vancouver, the Toronto, a lot of Canadian developers industries are in crisis. The construction costs, the financing situation, people can't afford it, high interest rate. Now, what's going to happen? We'll keep you updated, by the way. And this is something where you may going to find there could be opportunities out there, but again, hey, you get to know them. So in Toronto, we're talking about is the market is good or bad? Well, not everything is a blanket statement. And when you talk to Randy Goodman, she will tell you, hey, which pockets is selling like bananas, like crazy. Which areas is taking a lot longer time to sell. Just for example, it takes about 10 days to sell a house in Markham. Compared to Burlington, it's taking 63 days. And they might be getting a little bit less price in Markham property. They might be getting more money in a lot less period of time. So here is just a little chart. I will be sharing this thing on the YouTube in case you want to see it or you want to get in touch with Randy, especially just for the heck of it, in Brampton, Milton, Burlington, all this area, Oakville, they are taking more or less 60 days. On the other hand, Markham, Whitby, Etobicoke, South, East York, and Old Toronto, they're selling it really, really fast. Just thought I should share with you. Here is the horrific losses. That breaks my heart. What happened? People jump in a single family home. They're losing about 600,000. Yike. 602,000, that's loss only on the principal amount. Doesn't include all the other costs, which would be in the form of all the real estate commission, legal fees, land transfer taxes, and so on. This is a huge, huge losses. And all this people have bought in the peak in 2022. Now they can't afford it. And this will continue for next 2 years, by the way. In 2025, 2026, people have renewed the mortgages and the prices are not coming that great. Like some they bought this property for 2.5 million and they end up selling for approximately 1.9. Yike. And can't afford it. Just thought I'd just share with you. So in case you're looking to buy some wholesale deals, as I mentioned to you, $80,000 coming in to turn your basement in-law suite at 2% interest rate for 15 years. Wow, that's a good one. Text your name to this number and somebody will be happy to share what do they have. If you're looking to wholesale property, if you want to buy a wholesale property or you want to do a joint venture with us altogether. About 400 properties. This is something still going on. Balbosa Inc. and DSPLN, those people, you might know of them. Robbie Clark, Ruba Butt, Ryan Maloney, and Dalen Suter. They accumulated over 407 properties, 631 resident. They are all in big trouble. Some of them are being in process of being liquidated. So if in case you come across, could be a good deal, but just be aware of it. Some property may not be in a good shape altogether though. Cashback realtors. This is something happening all across Canada. People think the realtors make the most money. 3% of 1 million is $30,000, and they want some cash back from it, though. Same thing happening in Alberta. But again, this is something you might be going to hear about it. But if you're dealing with a professional realtor, they will justify, why their services are worth it. But just be aware of it. I just thought I should share with you. Saskatchewan town is offering you $30,000 to build a home down there. This could be good. Another one is City of Yorkton. They're offering you a 5-year rebate on when you buy a lot altogether, and there are about 70 city-owned properties are available. The Saskatchewan is really pushing to invite more people coming in altogether. This is Edmonton. As I mentioned to you many times over and over, can you buy property dirt cheap in Canada? Yes, you can. A property worth 3.4 million got sold for $1,000. What is the reason behind it? Just to let you know that this is sold to non-for-profit organization. Is it a good investment strategy? You need to discuss with your CPA, your lawyer, mortgage broker, and other investors. That can be extremely profitable, and even they paid $1,000. Just a more or less formality. They could have paid even $1 for it, though. But in exchange, what the city wants from them, city is not going to give you away, or the government is not going to give away. Really, it is for the community. They're going to bring some transitional homes and short-term accommodation for, I believe, better women or so on, though. Real estate. Now, people are learning this thing, and we have been telling, what is a wholetailing? What is a wholesaling, and what's house flipping and buy and hold? Wholetailing is when you buy a piece of property, just clean it up and maybe put a paint, and you just simply flip it. Or wholesaling is simply you sign the contract. House flipping is when you buy it, fix it nicely, just like a lot of people have done. They paid $1.3 million after fixing it, updating it, selling for $3 million in Toronto. And this is going to continue regardless, though. And buy and hold, this is good investments. If you think that you have good cash flow, you want to invest for a long-term basis. Excellent strategies, though. This is something for those people who have trouble saving money. You don't have any down payment. You do not qualify, but you want to buy a house. Yes, it is possible in Canada. It's called makinghomespossible.ca. So what is this one? This is run by the Habitat. So you get into the house, for next 25 years, you're going to be making the same payments per month. And again, this is a very innovative financing model, by the way. Without a down payment and without much of a qualification, as long as you've been working, you have a steady job for the last 3 years in a row, and it's for a family. It's not for investment, by the way. makinghomespossible.ca. Just thought I should share with you. Cochrane, again, selling a lot for $10. People think they are fake. No, it's not. Let's chat Cochrane.ca, discounted municipal lot for sale. Check it out and you'll be happy. So, question. A lot of people get into trouble in Canada, especially even the Canadians who have been living here or new Canadians, and they ask the same question. The simple principle to buy a piece of property anywhere in the universe, especially in Canada, is called 20-33 rule. And most of you are going to say, oh, I can't meet it. You should have 20% down payment. The total cost of mortgage shall not exceed more than 30% of your gross income. And the price of the house shall not be more than 3 times your gross income. If you can live with that, you will be safe. Doesn't matter, you can absorb all kind of shocks, though. But unfortunately, it is possible in small town, but this is a very good strategy to have. Next strategy is what's called 50-30-20 budget. And this is something, you need to be extremely careful. We got X amount of money after paying taxes, and they have some obligations for life. What is 50% for the needs, 20% for the saving, 30% for the wants, and what exactly are you doing with the savings? Are you investing in real estate? Are you investing in something else? In Canada, if you do not start investing, you don't have proper financial education, you will be left behind. And this is a very good principle just in case you want to focus on that though. Forgivable grants, again, these are the grants available. Ontario Renovates program is for $75,000. As I said, there are certain things going to come at you. Some are coming from the federal, some are coming from the provincial, some may going to come through municipal or regional, and some going to come through the crown corporations like CMHC and so on. And be aware of it. Some look at pros and cons, look at the rates. Are they forgivable? Or are you just getting interest free? Or are you paying the low interest rate? What are the implementation? In case you need some help, we have a couple of consultants working with us. They work independently. We just simply refer to them, or you can do all the legwork. But it's good to have that in case you want to build another suite in your house. Hey, take 75,000 or 80,000 bucks. Look at the pros and cons, by the way. St. Catherine is giving about $80,000, by the way. This is on a different level. It is on the city, by the way. I showed you earlier that was on a federal level. Other one I just showed you is a provincial level. So this one is on a city level. You can check with the city. And it's again about what additional dwelling unit program. And again, check it out. St. Catherine has been super kind to investors, by the way, close to Niagara Falls, and it tends to draw a lot of attention from investors, especially from GTA or even all across Canada. This is again, I'm going to repeat. I have earlier said the same thing, that today the Department of Finance Canada from the federal have announced that if you're going to convert unused basement or garage or laneway to a suite, they're going to give you $80,000 for 15 years at 2% interest rate. Now, they're going to also allows you, if you have a house up to $2 million after putting the suite, you can finance up to 90% and with 30-year amortization. All this thing is going to be launched on January 15th, one day after our next meeting. And we're going to have some more information about it. That's the only press release we got tonight. I think it came about 3:30 or 4 o'clock. I just thought I should add up and make your day all together. So Canadian real estate loan from the federal, it may gonna come through a bank, 2% interest. It will not change for 15 years. So that's a great loan, actually, in my opinion, though. Young Canadian homeowners who bought a piece of property, you should be buying it. What happened to their net worth? It has gone up from $142,000 to $457,000 in less than 5 years. No need to tell you why rich people get richer by owning real estate. And poor gets poor. But again, unfortunately, we all start from somewhere. Home ownership is definitely a good idea. Just to let you know why you should invest in real estate. If you look at it from the last 50 years, your average property has gone up by 7.5% compound interest, despite all the ups and downs. And in my opinion, investing in real estate, especially your principal residence, is an excellent advice for you. In case you want to invest with somebody, check before you invest.ca. Make sure you are not investing with anybody, putting your money out. That's not a good thing to do, by the way. Sure way to reduce your risk. And it is something said very beautifully, and I like to share with you. Warren Buffett said, risk isn't about your investment, it's about not knowing what you're doing. Risk is not what you're doing. While no investment is completely risk-free, they suggest you get proper education, gain experience, understand the investment, take control, and continuous learning. You can minimize your risk by education. Educate yourself. You're here tonight. Hey, bravo. You're learning something. I hope you'll do. Those who are interested in learning more about our Canadian real estate masterclass, they will be held on December 22nd. That'll be the last class for this year. You can just text your number and you will get information right away. So what are you going to do in 2025? Is it going to be the same old for the last 3 years, or are you going to change? The scariest place is to be at the same place. You don't want to do that regardless. So please put some time and effort and energy, learn something, share something, and invest something. In the meantime, I want to say thank you very much. I sincerely hope everybody enjoyed it. We're going to keep this meeting so less than an hour altogether. If you have any questions, we'll be more than happy, or you can talk directly to the presenter themselves, because a lot of you have complained, or sorry, have requested that you would like to keep your privacy, and we respect that. But regardless, we will be more careful that your privacy is well taken care. Thank you very much, everybody. It's almost 8:08. Time to wrap up. And if I don't get to see you, Happy New Year. We look forward to see you in 2025. All the best. Enjoy the spirit of holidays. Those who are celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and whatever you do, have yourself a great day. Thank you, and good night, everyone.